Happy snowy, blizzardy Friday, Vendasta, and welcome to All Hands for April 24th. Please put your hands together for your host today, Brendan King!
Okay, I wasn't quite ready. Let's go. Okay, I hope this is the last snow of the year. Maybe, maybe not. This is the board meeting edition always. So Friday, April 24th. Is this the last Friday in April? Yeah. No? Mm-hmm. All right. So people celebrations. We got anniversaries. We got 8 of them. We got a mover and a shaker. A couple kudos, customer love, and then George is going to do a citizen developer spotlight. I'm going to do the board meeting update, and then we're going to do the AI Billboard weekly update, and then the draw. Anniversaries. Wow, we got 1 year. We've got John Vars, Anthony, and Lyle McRae. All right, and Anthony Johnson. 1 year. Feels like it's been longer for some of them. Yeah. Sylvia, 2 years. Congratulations, Sylvia. And Adil, 3 years. All right, Adil. All right, and for 5 years, we got Dinesh. And we got a video for Mr. Kumar. Let's rock into it.
Hey Dinesh, congratulations on your 5-year work anniversary. It's unbelievable that it's almost 5 years we just had together. It was always great to work with you. And it was also great when I met you. You are an incredible person, really very workaholic. I really enjoy to work with you always. And many more 5 years to come with you. Thank you.
Hey man, happy 5 years. Thank you for everything that you do. You are a speed demon in the tickets. And happy anniversary.
Hi Dinesh. So congrats on your 5 years work anniversary. I'm very much happy for you. So you are one of the best addition to the team. So whenever I have doubts, the first person who comes to my mind is always you. So thank you for that. So I have learned many things from you, still learning it. And personally, you are also a good friend of mine. So who was being with me at my low times always. So thank you for that also. So I wish you a continued growth, many more successful years with Vendasta. Thank you.
Happy 5th work anniversary, Dinesh. Cheers to all your achievements so far and to the even bigger successes heading our way.
Hi Dinesh, happy 5-year anniversary. You have reached a remarkable milestone. Happy for you. Wishing you success, growth, and many more milestones ahead.
All right, congratulations, Dinesh. And let's see, 10 years, Heather Fagnio. So we have a video from the team.
Heather, happy
All right.
10-year work anniversary. Thank you so much for holding down the fort for us in all things US. We could not do it without you. And thank you so much for putting up with all of my complaining because it's still snowing here.
Happy 10-year anniversary, Heather, and congratulations. It has been wonderful having you on the team. You spent some time in payroll, helping with finance, and now back on people ops. And it has been great. You're always there to answer my last minute questions, to help me when I want to hash out an idea and to just brainstorm about stuff. So I really appreciate you and congrats. And here's to many more years working together.
Hey Heather, this is Nat's AI twin wishing you a huge congratulations on 10 years at Vendasta. Keep going, girl.
Hi Heather, happy 10 years. I'm so lucky to have worked with you. Your commitment and consistency is commendable and you deserve the best for all your hard work. I hope you had a great 10 years with Vendasta and I wish you many, many, many more years to come.
Congratulations, Heather, on completing 10 years. We appreciate you. Woo!
All right. Congrats, Heather. Okay. And, oh, I guess I got to click. 11 years, Jean. Jean's on a plane right now, I think, so on the way back. So give her congratulations when you see her. 11 years, a long time. Movers and shakers. Okay, we've got Nika Patel is moving to controller. All right, and we're going to see her here a little bit. I think she's going to come up a few days every month to Saskatoon, so you get to meet her more. She's in Regina right now, who's, I think, getting even more snow than we're getting. Okay, kudos. Everyone knows our 16 leadership principles, and the kudos around those. We've got 2 of them today, some from Senthil, from Morthy to Senthil. Exceptional performance this quarter. Your contributions were critical to achieving the team's Q1 2026 objectives and effectively navigating the AI requirements. You delivered a highly impactful solution, a social marketing AI that suggests content drafts, schedules, publishes, and generates images, all integrated within the business app. The technical foundation you established is particularly commendable. Thank you for the outstanding performance in Q1. Your efforts have positioned the team favorably for future initiatives. So thank you, Morthy, from Senthil. All right. And we've got from Shiva Priya to Geeth Priya. I want to give you a massive shout out to Geeth for exceptional work on the new documentation walkthrough. Though I initially reached out for simple clarification, she took full ownership of the challenge and delivered a solution that far exceeded expectations. When we hit a roadblock with our existing demo sites, Geeth demonstrated a strong bias for action and an invent and simplify mindset by volunteering to build a brand new website from scratch, a task entirely outside of her regular work scope. The proactive move ensured a clean, professional recording for partners and provided us with reusable templates for future requests, perfectly embodying the deliver results and customer obsession principles. Geeth truly went from above and beyond by taking the lead on high-priority project that wasn't even assigned to, benefiting both teams immensely. I'd like to thank Geeth's team for their support in allowing her flexibility to volunteer her time and expertise to see this through to such a successful conclusion. So thank you, Geeth. All right. Customer love. So this comes, I think this is just a meeting. I think this is, so we're going to get, I'm going to read what Gemini said. This is meeting notes from Josh with DMC Local, and it's probably for Norwood and Tom, but it says, or maybe it's for Josh, or maybe it's for all 3 of them. Josh Blythe provided a strong positive feedback and kudos to the team, highlighting significant performance increase. So Josh is giving them feedback, and Gemini's telling me about it. Highlighting significant performance increases since the campaigns were transitioned to Matchcraft. They shared specific metrics illustrating that they achieved a higher click-through rate with substantially lower spending compared to the client's previous internal management. Josh Blythe expressed appreciation for the quick, consistent response from the Matchcraft team, noting that, as always, they receive a reply even if Norwood or JV are busy. So Josh is the client. He's at DMC Local. And Gemini's telling me how our team did a good job. Okay, I got it. Nice. All right. Good. Congratulations. All right. So this, so there's an April 30th. That's the up party. That's Thursday. And so you're right. There's no 31st. So there is no Friday anymore in April. But the up party is going to be great. I hope to see you all here. Maybe the deck will be open. What do you think? Who's got odds on that? You know, I'm going to go out there anyway, but yeah, hopefully it's open right now. Yeah. May 1st is May Day. It's a stat holiday in India. May Day is also the distress signal from a plane or a boat. It was in our, it's funny, on the way back, I was getting ready at the airport, and John and Mark and Jean and Sanjay were still at the hotel in Phoenix, and they were up at a bar playing a game, and we were answering. Mayday was one of the answers to the Jeopardy game, so that's why I said that. May 14th, Ideas on Tap. Let's go. I don't know what this Ideas on Tap's about, but it's going to be a good one because it's getting summer, May. It's fun. And then Victoria Days on May 18th, and that's a stat holiday for the Canadians. All right, Learning Ops. So April 29th is going to be Beyond Websites, launch scale AI-powered word sites with Beyond Private Label. Vince is doing that. And April 30th, we're going to have an AI-powered agency defining your unfair advantage with Jeff Leibel, who may or may not use an AI to do his whole part. Citizen Spotlight developer, let's go, George. You going to come up and give us the spotlight? Where are you? You knew this slide was coming.
Okay. Today. Right. I recently had the privilege of being able to join Citizen Developer. Learned a lot of stuff, way too much stuff. Probably forgot some of this stuff. Probably should sit in on some of the next sit dev because the class keeps changing. So that's for anybody who was like, oh, I didn't get in last time. Watch, it keeps changing, keeps learning, and we get to post all the resources, so it makes it fun. My goal was to create a solution for my friends. I saw a bunch of data shoveling happening in a ton of different places, and that felt really redundant. I thought, hey, there's a way that we can go ahead and make this better. And when I tried to give it a hand, turns out it ended up being a solution for everybody in marketing services. To share to the screen. Hey, that's handy. All right. So what this does is, let's say that you've gone ahead and had a really big call with a partner. And that call with a partner is, she's a long one. You've talked about so many different things. Well, sometimes it's hard to keep track. And sure, we have note taker and those sort of stuffs, but you also have to go back through manually. It's a lot of work. What we came up with is, hey, what if you were able to parse out your notes, have it already understand, oh, failed to parse, fabulous. I love when demos don't work. Here, we'll share this one. Please bear with me in good tech style. Here, we'll just bring it right up in cursor, why not? Hey. The whole point is to make the AI do the work. We didn't have a tool at the time that was able to go ahead and parse out all of our tasks, all of our notes, and understand the accounts that we were working on. The goal was to be able to parse out and have it tell you, hey, VTM needs to know this, this, and this. Hey, Zendesk needs to know this. Here's the client-facing proposal that we have the ability to put through. Oh, and here's a couple different teams that you should talk to internally to make sure that we have this all wrapped up. Recently, and the reason this is looking a little funky is because we went out of building it in Cursor and we're putting it into Vibe. It is getting integrated with our V-ticketing system, so it's one of the really cool things we have the ability to see get kicked off the ground in something as little as SitDev and then turn into something that benefits everyone, the whole company. So next time, hopefully this demo will work and it'll do better in Vibe. Thank you, friends.
Okay. All right. As always, I'm going to do the board deck. I'm going to give you a high-level view of the story and the overview of everything that we're telling the board. So Q1, I normally start this is our first second meeting actually. So, but we do a Q1 review because Q1 ends in March. So here's what the meeting agenda looks like. We always have it in camera. Spend some time. We did it in Phoenix this year. It's actually a pretty good place for us because it's one hop flight from Saskatoon, which is great. And all the other folks that are in Vancouver or in Toronto or anywhere else can all fly one flight. And it's quite inexpensive, actually, so that makes it a lot better, too. So we did it in Phoenix this year, and we did the in-camera, and I'll go through my little bit of what I say there. Then we do a Q1 financial review. This year, the three things I really wanted were, one, to get the board to approve our budget for the year, because we had made some changes, as you guys know, in January to reset, or February to reset that, and so we got a reset budget, which I'm going to show you, which is great. And then a business metrics and scorecard. So as we're changing the business, we want these top-level metrics that we share with the board. And we got some really good board members now that are operators. So we had a good board before with lots of investors, but when you combine in a couple of the operators, so we have Lisa Reeves at TriNet, she's the Chief Product Officer, but we wanted some other kind of operating sort of executives. So we got Eric Johnson, who is the CEO of SurveyMonkey. It's a $400 million kind of product-led product that we wanted some experience from. And Brent Ramey, who was at Cloudflare. But before that, he was at McAfee and lots of other places where he's, taken companies from small amounts of revenue to very large amounts of revenue, including product-led companies. And he's the CMO area, and Eric's operator is the CEO. So then after the business metrics scorecard review, we went into a product-led growth that was led by John, Sanjay, and Mark. All three of our executives there have more experience than I do in product-led. We've always been a sales-led organization at Vendasta, so it was great to see that. And then we do our people update. We did a talent comp committee, audit committee update, governments and approvals, and then an in-camera. So let me just go through this. So actually, I'm just going to start by, the in-camera is generally just a compilation of the rest of the deck and some of the things at the top of my mind. I'm going to give you that as we go through it, so I don't have to waste too much time. So here's what Q1 looked like. It started slow, but finished strong. So you might know that March was a great month. February is a short month, but there was some structural things that we fixed in February. But March was super strong. In fact, we had 7.2% growth month over month. So it was a $430,000 MRR growth month for that month. So we ended with $6.31 million in revenue. And it was across all functions. So you can see channel grew by $290K a month. It's a great month for channel. Self-serve actually even grew. We had some extra revenue that was coming back from Bank of Montreal and some other things and that's mostly Yesware and self-serve. And then direct, which is our direct SMB, grew 7.4%, the most. So it grew by $100,000 at 7.4%. Now, in absolute dollars, channel is still bigger. Channel is still 70% of our revenue. Direct is about 30% of our revenue, but a little bit more of our gross margin. So it was a great month, and if we can continue that trajectory, we're in pretty good shape. So we look also at business metrics. So on business metrics, I was going to put up a slide, but I'm like, hey, why not show the dashboard we have? So this is a dashboard that Josh makes, and it shows, and I just did it for today, we got 23,400 basically AI employees. Now, one thing I noticed is he doesn't have all the AI employees in there yet. We don't have the CRM in here, so when he gets back from Italy, we'll add that. So total revenue was from in a monthly basis just from those AI employees is 612. We've deployed 17,600 of the 23.5. So and then we have this idea of agentic work units or actually autonomous work units. So what does it mean? It means the AI did something for the business. So it could have responded to a review, could have had a conversation, could have captured a lead, but it did something. And that's what we're going to track. And you can see that we've really gone off the chart in terms of the things that we're doing for people as we roll out our agents. And then you have the tokens that it takes to make one of those actions happen. So you notice it went way up. And these are conversations mostly, but then as we release reputation management, to respond to review, it doesn't take as many tokens, so the amount of tokens per action goes down, and we're just tracking that as sort of a check metric. What's interesting from here is if you look at the 23.4 or 23.3 AI employee subscriptions, a lot of times people say, well, how many actual small businesses is that? Do they buy more than one? If you look in the bottom left, what we call account group would really say small business. So there's 18,000, just over 18,000 small businesses that actually have an AI. And so I think it'd be like whatever that works out to, 1.3 AIs per small business. And then of those 18,000 businesses, 10.4 have deployed that. That means that it's doing work, some kind of thing that it's doing. So a bunch of them haven't deployed just yet, but we've been in a pretty fast rate of sales. So we'll have to catch up there. So one of the ratios that's important to us is deploys per active subscription. So you don't want to sell something and don't deploy it, they're going to churn. And then of those that are deployed, and this is an amazing metric, you're looking at, almost 75%, I think, maybe a little over that. Yeah, obviously over that. So about 85% of those are engaged, which means that it's doing some work. So this is really cool about our AI. When you roll it out and sell it, it starts doing stuff. So if you can get it deployed, it will be doing things, and that's what the engaged metric is. So that's really cool. And then the bottom of that report, I just put on the next slide, it just shows what's even more cool for us is that we've only been selling only really one, our chat receptionist or AI receptionist. Conversations AI is the SKU, and that's what I should have on there. That SKU is really the only SKU that we've been selling for more than a year. We just have rolled out the voice receptionist. I knew I shouldn't have brought my phone up here, I'm sorry. We just rolled out the voice receptionist, 6 months ago? Maybe not even. And reputation specialist just came out. Content creator, you can see, has no sales yet, no active subscriptions. We haven't started selling it. Custom AI employee, and you'll notice we're missing our CRM AI and other AI. So there's going to be more on here, and that is really going to spur our growth with AI employees. When that's important, maybe I should just go back, and maybe I'll talk about it a little bit later, why AI employees are so important. Also, to wrap up the quarter, I wanted to go over our company initiatives. They were all green, so you can see that in self-serve, it's now live on Broadly.com. So if you go to Broadly.com, we've had 217 signups from only 537 visitors. It's a pretty good rate. So that's 40% sign-up rate. 85 have taken a first action. And actually, some of them are even paid already. We don't know if they're tests or not, so we left that kind of information out. But it's a really good start to our self-serve motion. We've never really, and we'll talk about that a little bit in self-serve because it was one of the topics of the board meeting. Grow the AI workforce. So we have released obviously the CRM, so the sales assistant, the blogger, and the social marketer and trusted tester. AI distribution. So we fully shifted, as we wanted to, our focus on our go-to-market. So we're focusing on franchises, ISVs, large agencies, and on direct. So we're still selling to the small guys, but we're doing it a different way. And we're going to operationalize AI. We're way ahead there. You guys see the citizen developers and and our development teams and product teams. We're going to shut down Broadly 1.0. That's on track. It's causing us some problems sometimes. We do these big migrations, stopping some of our other software for a little bit, but we're learning a lot. We're getting it. We're going to really simplify things by taking Broadly 1.0 and moving him into our platform, the Vendasta platform rather, and then turning off Salesforce, Heroku, Zuora, all the manual response chats that we have that were being happened there. So there's a lot of savings that's going to happen over the next 2 quarters. And then we're Vendasta SOC certification. I think it's May, someone remind me, is it 4th or May 18th or 14th? Or there's a day in here in May where we're going to actually, we're already certified. We're in the period. We're just waiting for the certification. So you can go to trust.vendasta.com and you can see that. IOL product requirements. Obviously, that one's successful. I'm going to do a little talk on this, but you all know that we rolled out with IOL, and it was a spectacular success so far. And then lastly, I fixed the marketplace, and SEO is kind of a, Jeff Fulcomer and team and other people and Janessa are working on this, but we're actively turning our marketplace partners, we're pruning them, so if they don't have real revenue there, we're going to keep the top ones. And the ones that we're keeping are going to be partners of ours. And so I think they're on 11 subscriptions now where they've signed them up to be partners. Some of them already were, like a Zoke, but others are becoming partners. And Jeff's been really good at that. And then lastly was the digital partnership. So that's those, so that we got those. In Q2, I'm not going to talk about these in this meeting, but these are the Q2 initiatives. You're going to hear more about them. I won't read them to you. I'll just let you have a look, but they're really important. These are the things we're going to measure success by. Then we wanted to do the budget approval. So, we already take the budget. Riley works with our audit committee, which includes Brad Feld and others. And so it's already been through the audit committee. By the time it gets here, it's just a review for the board so they can understand it mostly and approve it. And at the top level, I just wanted to give you a quick overview. One of them, in our revenue, you all know we've got some traditional media companies. We've got some SEO that is, both of those things are shrinking in the world, not just at Vendasta, but radio and print companies not growing, and SEO not growing, as a traditional SEO anyway. And so we're weaponizing that because we're taking the partners that would normally sell direct, like those radio and print, and we're turning them into direct versions. So they're saying, hey, we're not going to print our newspaper, or we're not going to sell digital, whatever it might be. We're going to take those customers, and we're going to provide them digital revenue or digital products, but we're also going to install AI. And so that has been a big shift for us. It was great last year. It's turning out to be great this year, and we expect that will help us a lot. The second thing is we're focusing on AI employees and changing our go-to-market. So that's going to add a nice chunk of revenue year over year. So you can see that our AI SKU adoption is already up 114% this year. So it's pretty exciting. We're looking to grow those from, what did we start the year at? Was just under 20. We're looking to go to 46,000 plus employees by the end of the year. And we're going to focus on, that's the important part. When we sell AI, churn just goes through the floor. Once the AI is deployed, we don't see churn. So that's why we're pushing on this all the time. It isn't just because we love AI. It's like all of you know that it's really helping small businesses. And so I appreciate all the effort that everyone's putting in to help those small businesses succeed. And we're focusing on our go-to-market on these large agencies, ISVs, franchises, and direct, and that's been paying off. You can see that we've got lots of deals that we've closed, like the IOL deal, like Payrock, like DaySmart. There's just a bunch, and then lots of agencies with the new pricing model, which is a minimum instead of a subscription. They don't pay a subscription tax. We've noticed that the team is selling much larger deals. It's kind of ironic, right? You make the subscription a minimum, and they're selling lots larger deals. They're getting activated faster, so it's been a very big success. And then lastly, we want to increase our efficiency with a thing that Riley and I started called Operation Lean. So what does this mean? Well, we spend on the software that runs our products, so Google Cloud and all the different things we use, plus then the software we use, like a Lattice or a Bamboo, all of that. So I shouldn't pick on two people up software, but there's lots of software across the org, Confluence, Jira, I can just keep going on and on. We spend $30 million a year. We think we can spend $20 million a year. So we think we didn't necessarily bake that into this budget, by the way. That's not in the budget, but we think we can reduce that by a lot. What Naresh and Gabe and his team did with Zendesk is a really good example of that. And I know there's a few bumps in the road on support, but actually when you start to use the product, you can see that it's going to be a tremendous success. We're going to be able to allow our partners to use that product. It's vibe coded on our own platform. It's just, it's killer. So this is what the budget looks like. So we ended the year in 2025 at just almost 75 million ARR. We're going to get to 88.7. So I'd like to get us to 90, but that's what we're going to get, and that's about a 20% growth. So you can see for us that's a green check mark. Revenue, on the other hand, because we had some headwinds here at the start of the year, is going to go from 73 to 78, and that's a 6.1%. That's a yellow. Like we want to be in at least the double digits. But who knows? We might. This budget is pretty achievable, so there's a chance with this, if we keep up the blistering pace in March, we'll for sure pass that. Gross margin to comp. So this is like for every dollar we spend on compensation, how many dollars of margin do we earn? Not revenue, margin. The dollars after all those costs do we earn? And then lastly is adjusted EBITDA. That's how much money we're making. We went from last year, we lost $500,000, and this year we're going to make $2.3 million. And so we'd like to make more than that. That's yellow, but could be green. It's close. One of the other things we're doing in this budget is we're spending more on advertising. So you can see that in 2025, we spent about $3.9 million. We're looking to spend $4.5 million. So we're going to, it's not like we're asking sales to do more with less. we've invested in sales, and we've invested in marketing. So you can see that, and you can see where it's going. And then I wanted to just give a call out to, like Jeff Tomlin heads this up, but everybody in R&D and other places really help this out. So what you're looking at here is, and every tech company gets this, not just Vendasta, but the green bar is SR&ED. So that's research and development credits. So if you spend money on building new stuff in technology, the government gives you a rebate on that. You still have to spend the money, and then you can get it back. This year, they've actually increased that rebate. So the most we could ever get, and we're getting every year, was about maybe 1.4 million Canadian dollars. And that there was just a cap there. But for the whole country, they've increased it, so that's going to go to 2.4. But the real cool work here is this. You can see, by the way, the gray, just so you know what that is. We're one of the only tech companies that's paid back all their debt. A lot of the companies that took this funding didn't actually end up paying it back. But this is called WIN, which was Western Innovation. And man, I don't know what RRF is, but I hate acronyms, so I should know. Regional something, I bet. Anyway, that money was, we took some loans and we paid it all back. Interest-free loans will be done in 2026. Then we've got SHRED, and then you can see there's IRAP. IRAP is money that from an industrial research program that gives you some funding. And then you've got the blue, which is the RIIA. That's the Regional Artificial Intelligence. That's an interest-free loan. It's $1 million. You can see it spread over 2 years. And then you've got ICED, which is the compute fund, not repayable. So what the Canadian government's doing, and we don't get our fair share here in Saskatchewan, mostly goes down to the folks out in Ontario and to BC. But we did a pretty good job. Jeff did a pretty good job of writing this up, and I think maybe we got our share this time in ICED. So what it is it pays for half the compute that we buy from like a Google or OpenAI if they're Canadian providers or housed in Canada. So that's what we get there. So just a quick view of what that looks like. And then we got into the business metrics and scorecards. So these are the things we run the company with. And I wanted three things out of this. I wanted to be able to say, here's to the board, here's the top level, here's the recommendation for those business metrics, and here's what we think the outcomes will be. And those top level metrics need to drive things. And those things, we have other things we look at. So the board, we met with Eric and Brent, and we said, hey, what are you guys looking at your companies? What are you used to? What would you like to see from us? What things could we tell you about our company that will help you help us? And so they said, hey, well, I'd really like to see the top 8 to 10 metrics that every department looks at. And so I'm going to show you that a bit. And we just want to be familiar with that. We're not going to drag the board through 10 metrics times 60 metrics. We're not doing that. We just want to know what those are and how you think about them. And then how do they tie back to the top level metrics, and what actions do you actually take? Because the top level metrics are usually lagging, right? So like what things do you do or change that actually make those metrics change? And then we want to get some feedback on the board that's going to help us to achieve our goals. So these were the key business metrics that we are looking at. We pick net AI employees sold, and I'm going to go through a little bit of reason about why each of these metrics are important. So hold that in your mind, why did we pick these metrics? I'll talk about that. Then we want to talk about total paying SMBs, gross revenue retention, net revenue retention. There's different ways to calculate these, so we have a TBD in here, and there's a bigger discussion. That's what I'm going to take you through in a bit. And then lastly was gross margin to compensation. You guys already explained that. So let's have a look at what GRR and NRR is. Does everybody here know what they are? So gross revenue retention is just simply how much revenue you keep. It can never be above 100%. It's because you can only lose it. So what did you get in a certain period? And then say 12 periods later, or so what did you get in January of 25, then how much of that same revenue from those customers only, no expansion, no anything else, how much from the things you sold them? Say you sold them all one thing, how much of that revenue do you have left 12 months later? So it can only be churn and downgrades from that. And then NRR is how much you grow. And that's from the customers you already have. So you might have 10 customers from that January period of 25. And at the end of 26, you might only have 8 of those. But you get to add how much the expansion was. So it's possible that you could be more than 100%. So you take away the churn, you add the expansion, you still could be more than 100%. And so we said, this is what we're looking at, and sort of, best in class numbers in our area. You'd have a gross revenue retention on a trailing 12-month basis for a year of 85%, and you'd have a net revenue retention of 115%. Now that was, when we were, and an interesting part of that is you can look at averages, but averages aren't so good. You need to look at different segments. And when we were, before 2019 or even into 2020, with our enterprise customers, we had like 140% NRR. So those customers just kept paying us more and more. And then our smaller agency partners, they weren't like that. They were probably below 100% because a lot of those churn. So what we wanted to do was say, well, where do we stand and what do you do with those things and what are they? So if you think about it, if the gap between GRR and NRR is widening, that means that the customers are buying more. So product market fit's strong and your land and expand is working. That's what that means. If you have a stable gap and they're in the healthy range, that just means that your expansion is offsetting your churn and it's predictable, but you're really not growing anywhere. Like if you have 85% NRR, you have to grow, 15% will just keep you even, unless the NRR, those existing customers are actually growing. So, and if it's narrowing, so expansion is stalling, which is what we've had in the last couple of years, then that means the upsell engine's weakening or churn is creeping up. We had a little bit of both. Mostly the upsell engine, mostly our expansion was weakening. And so, your new logo growth is just trying to hide that problem, and it's called a leaky bucket. So how do you fix that? So if you think about gross revenue retention, that means like, how do you keep the customers you have? Number one thing you do is you fix onboarding. So most churn, for us at least, is decided in the first 30 days. So you gotta fix onboarding. You gotta identify accounts that are at risk early. So we used to have, and we'll have to get back to again, is an up for renewal. So when things are coming up for renewal, we should be all over those. And you have to sell to the right ICP. If you sell to the wrong kind of customer, they're not gonna keep buying the stuff. It doesn't fit for them. And then you can do multi-year contracts as sort of a structural way you can change it. The other side is how do you lift your expansion motion, your NRR? Well, that's by growing the base. So how do you do it? Well, you have usage-based pricing, which you'll see we're introducing. So if those customers are already paying a sub, but now they can do more things, and you add usage-based pricing onto that, maybe they buy the CRM and they have to buy a bunch of credits to make it work, or vibe coding, that will grow the NRR. Or tiered packaging. You can see that we've done that with our standard, pro, and premium, and we're trying to bundle more things in, and we're trying to get a bigger basket, and we're trying to raise that up. And by the way, that also affects GRR. We've found that every additional product that we sell to a customer lowers our churn on an annual basis by 7%. It's just been that way across the board. And then a dedicated expansion motion. So this is owned usually by customer success, and it's and the AMs own the upsell success. They help them expand it, and then multi-year product attach. And this is like selling more stuff in. We haven't done as much as we can there, but we should focus on that. You looking at me? Can you hear me there? Oh, well, I can. I'm probably loud enough for everyone here. Okay, these are then the departmental. Did I just turn that off? Check. No. These are the departmental metrics. So these are the key performance indicators that drive sort of the financial success so Sanjay or Mark. So Mark, he's looking at these ones. I'm not going to take you through them all, but these are the main metrics that Mark looks through. And our board's actually asked him to say, hey, what is most important? What's least important? What are the check metrics? So there's going to be more discussion on some of these. Marketing has a number. Product has a number. But ultimately, we're not going to have 8 to 10 that we would even talk to the board about. We'd pick 1 or 2, and that'd be the most. Technology has a number. Those are really important to us. Probably not so much to a board. They don't want to know about, the refactor ratio. They don't even know what that is. And then people operations, our number one metric is a top line metric, GM to employee cost. And they've got a lot they look at in marketing services. So these are the sets of metrics, and you can see that these should all be baked into, all of these should be baked into transparent dashboards that anyone could see. And that's what we're going to endeavor to do over the years, to get to a place where these are all in a dashboard and anyone can see what they look like and how our performance is trending. So here's where I wanted to tell you so all of those metrics have to boil up into the top level metrics. But why do we have the gross margin dollars to compensation? Well, that's to measure the culture and the organization reset. To see, like, you'll see all the AI first companies out there have a massive percent margin to compensation because they can accomplish so much more efficiently. And so it measures efficiency and productivity. It measures the latency in the org, how fast you can do something. So when you want to get something done, how fast can you get it? Like, can you get it done in one day? Sometimes doesn't it feel like we can never get anything done in one day? You should be able to get stuff done in one day. And so that we have to figure out how to get across that. Lots of these AI first companies are able to do that, and non-AI first companies. And I always think it's a Conway's law that you ship your org structure. So however you're organized, that's how things are going to end up being shipped. And I think we're making a lot of changes in product and R&D. We've made lots of changes in our sales and marketing and go-to-market. So the next one is net AI employees sold. So what do we want to know with that? Well, we know that AI employees are the future of our company. So number one, we got to measure that. And it's the net, right? So the board was asking lots of questions like, you might have a huge problem underneath where you're adding a bunch but losing a bunch. And so we have to make sure that we really think hard about the net. So they really want to know the rate of growth underneath that, so the derivative of that. So this proves our thesis on AI use. So we're seeing small businesses use it across the board, and we really understand how we can penetrate our existing partners in our new base. I want to talk about AI. I want to tell you a story about, just really quickly, about IOL. So we rolled out with IOL, and it's been a long time and a long road to get there. And Josh went to Italy and helping them roll it out, and I heard it was a good, successful rollout. But I was at this conference of Locology in Houston. Gene was speaking, and I was getting ready to go to the board meeting, and I had to go to the plane, and I got this meeting request from Umberto. So Umberto Porci is the Chief Digital Officer of IOL. He was the head of Microsoft in Italy for 4 years. Then he was the head of Google, all of Google for 13 years in Italy. And he's a professor, and now he's running the digital operations of IOL, which is a pretty big company, 700 some salespeople alone. And so I'm like, oh, what does he want to talk to me about? And I'm pinging Josh. Is there anything I need to know? Because he's like, really hope you have time for this meeting. He's WhatsApping me. And so I'm like, okay. Took the meeting, sitting on the way to wait for my Uber, and get on there. And he's on there. He's all smiles. So that's relieving right away. But he's excited, and he's been through, he's not a new business person. And he says to me, I just wanted to share this with you in person and see your face, because every once in a while you have a day like this in your career where everything is fantastic and goes really well. And I just wanted to share that with you because of the work that your team's done. So I want to share that with you for all the work that your team, that everyone here who's worked with IOL, which is almost everybody, I really appreciate it. And to get those kudos was pretty special. So what happened is they sell these AI employees. So they invested a lot, and they, it's a long-term deal. It's worth $3.2 million. It really wasn't, the minimums aren't supposed to start until June. They're just in the rollout phase. They didn't think they would really start to sell all that many. They did some advertising campaigns. They put it on the billboards in all the subways. And so you can see they had this Mario character, like Super Mario for Nintendo. And I asked him about that, by the way. I said, is he going to have any licensing issues? And he says, we're working on that. But they did that, and what happened is they had planned to maybe sell 30 this month. They sold 25 the first day. Now, you might think, well, 25, so what? Is like, no, they sell it for 4,300 euros, so that's $5,000 a year. And they sign a yearly contract, and so that's a that's $250,000, that's $125,000 right there, $150,000 right there on day one. And I think they, day two, they were 52. So I think what's $250,000, that's 125. So I think by day two, they've already got to $250,000 worth of sales in 2 days. And that's pretty good for us too, because I think, we get $50 a unit US, but they get 10 times that, but they're doing all the work. So like where we get 50 a month, they get 400 and something a month. So it's not that bad. I mean, that's what our partners are all pretty much like that. So we get $50 a month, they get 419 or whatever that works out to. So we get a lot more than $50. But we get per. So it's a great start in 2 days, and it really proves the thesis for AI. So that's why we got to make sure that our AI works and stays up and does all the wonderful things it's supposed to do. So that's net AI employees sold, and we really need to understand that. The second one is total paying SMBs. How many small businesses do we sell to? Because if we just sold to one, we sold all that revenue to one, it wouldn't be so great. We're here to democratize technology for local businesses. So it's really to measure the total economic and distribution strength of our partners. Like how many do we reach? Because we can sell more things into them. And it helps us too, by the way, to understand which of those small businesses need our stuff the most, so our ideal customer profile. Lastly, these two new ones, gross revenue retention. Why do we want them? Well, number one, gross revenue retention is sort of like truth serum for your product market fit. If you sell something to somebody and they don't like it, they return it. If you guys buy something, especially from Costco, and then it doesn't work for you, you just take it back, or Amazon or wherever, and maybe they even let you keep it. But it really kind of proves the must-have status. And so that number is really important. It isolates the product value from the sales. So if you have really good sales, but it's shitty product, it's not going to stay. So you might say, oh, look at our sales. So it isolates that, and it validates who the ICP is, obviously. And net revenue retention, that measures how much the partners are performing. Like how much can we expand our partners? If they have multiple SMBs, if they sell a product that is easy to sell and stays sold, and they can expand, they will. And so if we have net revenue expansion, where the partner model's working well. And we can also see how it works for the SMB. If they start buying more and more of our product, we know we're onto something. And it kind of reveals if your existing customer base is growing or shrinking, which was a big problem for us with media and newspaper for a while. It's down to about a $6 million thing out of 78 million or whatever. But it's still in there, and we're still, so we still have to convert those over. But that revenue was shrinking, and that's really hard on both GRR and NRR. And that's what that does. So that's why we pick those metrics, and our job is now to tie them back so that you can figure out what to do with them. So this is just an example. So if you want to, GRR, you want to activate and retain, stop the leaks. And so from a product point of view, what do you focus on? Time to value. How quickly can you get them to value so they see the value and don't just churn? How many times do they come back? I don't know if it's login retention or monthly active users, but it's like in what way they use it, it's usage. And then CSAT and NPS. Those are all the things that will help you to understand GRR on product side. So shrink the time to value, every week's faster, measurably less churn at renewal. Sales. This would be the deployment ratio. How many you've sold to how many you deploy. Because if you sell them and they don't deploy, they're churning. They're not, there's no value there. And so the action is close them and then deploy them. That's an easy one. And then marketing services. This can be a real big problem for GRR if we can't have overdue tasks. We have to have a high CSAT and a high NPS. It's real simple. 0 overdue SLA and fulfillment. Service failures are the #1 predictable churn driver in our platform. So we have to get rid of those, and we must. Now, how do you drive the upsell and expansion? That's the NRR. Well, active AI employees. So like if we have a partner and they have 1,000 employees and they're not all, 1,000 customers and they're not all buying, and you don't have 1,000 AI sold, you got work to do. So like we got to actively expand the AI employees. We got to sell more than one. They should be buying a bunch. And then the autonomous work units, they should be getting value. So we want to make sure that's happening. Monthly ad spend, that's a sort of our ad platform or Matchcraft metric. If we're doing really well with the ad spending and they're getting good results, they'll spend more. And then maybe, how many conversations are happening. So there's different things they can use in product. These are just examples. So it's grow consumption per account. On sales, it's upsell the engaged users. So measure the engagement rate and upsell more. Find the engaged customers and upsell more. Multi-product attach. Marketing services, again, it's to treat marketing services as an expansion motion. It's not a cost center. When you're talking to marketing services, and BPL is really good at this, someone comes in and they say, I'm trying to build a website, and the guy says, I really want to do a form. It's like, yeah, we don't do those. You can say, hey, let me get the account rep in here so we got a product we can sell you, or let me sell you the product. So marketing services is more than just the service work. It's actually becoming set up and AI support and everything else. So it's part of the sales and success arm, and we need it to be. That's the only way we're going to activate and lift that base. Okay, that was the business metrics. We got a whole bunch of feedback and a ton of work to do on that. We've made a commitment to get back to them the next week or two with a bunch of stuff. Product-led growth. This is a deep dive, actually, led by Sanjay and John and Mark. I'm not going to go as deep as they did. I'm just going to give you a high-level overview. I do like this slide because it tells us where we've been. So if you look at Vendasta, we've had self-serve, but it's for the target audience is for the partner. And we had self-serve mostly as a lead capture engine. So it's not called product-led growth. We never expected the partner to sign up, configure everything, put the credit card in, and never talk to us. We never expected that. We thought they would sign up, get interested, a salesperson would close them, onboarder would take them through. So that's not product-led growth, that's self-serve. And we've had that for a while. I think we get maybe 5 to 7 a week, maybe 5. That sign up and pay, and then we still jump on them. So it's not product-led. If you look at SurveyMonkey with their 400 million, 40% of their revenue, nobody talks to them. They sign up, they do the work, they use the thing, they pay. Maybe they get support. Yesware is the only one that we've had where it's true self-serve PLG. So and Yesware is actually a really good machine. It's almost best in class. So even today, and we've maintained that, so like people come to Yesware, whatever the amount of traffic is that convert through is almost best in class. So it's fast, frictionless to sign up. If you buy it, it tells you, oh, do this, buy this. So it's a nice little flow. And so we can learn some things from our own product. Now, when I say broadly, I mean our direct motion. So our direct motion has never had self-serve. It's never had product-led. You noticed before I said before February. So we just hadn't. So we're testing it right now on broadly. So after March, we've kind of got a self-serve motion. We're still not calling it product-led because it's too much friction in there still. And we still intend to have people talking to them for now. But that's where we're going. And so that's what we're talking about is our self-serve motion. Our product-led motion, firstly for broadly as our direct motion, but then think about every one of our existing partners can have that motion and be a self-serve machine. So whether it's social or deals, or whether it's maybe CoStar wants to start to put advertising in there. Think about what IOL just did. They spent a huge bunch of money on advertising our AI or their AI Mario. They could easily have had a self-serve function there if we would have that ready. So this is why we're investing in it. We talked a little bit about the massive adoption gap, the high visible pain. I want to play this video. Can you guys play this video? Way better than me talking to you. It's really cool. It's Josh.
And I wanted to quickly show you what our plan program lead for AI experience at Vendasta, and I wanted to quickly show you what our plans are for the next version of PLG self-sign-up for our platform and some of the exciting things that are coming. So I'm going to take you through it here. The first page you're seeing here, this is a landing page, and so this could be on broadly.com, this could be on vendasta.com, this could be a partner site, and of course they could do anything they want. But the key feature here is that there's a chat box. And so someone could type in, whatever they want to see, and what we'll do is we'll match that up with an exciting experience that our platform can do. But what we find as we watch people interact with this, a lot of times they don't even know what to type. They, our platform is really powerful. It's not just a vibe builder. It's not just an AI receptionist. There are so many things that we're expanding into with the AI workforce. So how do we make it really easy for people who don't even know what to ask to see a great demo? And so we've got these chips with these opportunities of different things you can do, these jobs. We also have these AI employees called out here. And so a person could click on this, or they could say, hey, you know what, I want to book appointments 24/7. Let's see that. And I'll fill it out and auto submit. Okay, great. So here we need to find my business, and this uses Google. So you could, type in the name of business, and if it's on Google, it'll find it. And yeah, great, we found you. This is your information. And so I can go, yep, that's mine. And then finally create an account with your Google by sign in with Google, so that we can get you your account all set up. And then here we're showing, like, this is all the data we're already finding about you online. We're, scraping the web, we're scraping your website, and we're revealing this information. And then for the first experience, what we wanted to do was make sure that, someone could just not think and still experience the value. They don't have to worry about what to type into a demo experience. We just autoplay it like Netflix, and they get to see a conversation happen. And this isn't just any conversation. This conversation is a demo based on the business. Like, I signed up as the owner of Riverside Plumbing, and so here I get a Riverside, and the AI knows answers to my hours, schedule a visit, it can book an appointment, and hey, it just captured a lead. And so, the idea is that, anybody who's seeing it the first time our platform, they can just click the big blue button and go, oh, wow, that's what they do. Cool. And they didn't have to think too hard. Continue. And then our final step here is the opt-in. Hey, our AI receptionist is ready to work for you. Also, you could go off and, if you want to see other demos, you could go see what we're doing for, online presence, or a support agent, or a review manager, or building apps, or creating custom employees. But I'm going to say, yeah, let's do this. This sounds great. And so finally, a user would land inside of the business app. And so with the business app, what you get here is an AI-first experience. And so everyone's familiar with that ChatGPT-like experience where you can type and get something done. But we really wanted to call out what makes Vendasta special. What's the key differentiators here? And so the first one I wanted to call out was, if you land in ChatGPT and you start talking with it, at first, ChatGPT doesn't know anything about you, and it takes a while to build up that knowledge base. Versus a business comes to us, we know a ton of things about them already. And so that's, we're proposing and visualizing it here with this knowledge graph. And so here you have all of the data visualized in a really interesting way that we know about you. And maybe it starts as a small sort of cluster constellation, and then it grows over time as we learn more. And you could look at it from a list, a tree view here, like, here's all the reviews we found about you. Here's what content that's found. Here's information about your competitors. Here's internally, here's your operational decisions, and here's your mission statement. And this is a graph that will build over time. And what's special about this is what powers your AI. This is what powers your workforce. So it can do all kinds of incredible things. This is why it's different from a lot of those other platforms out there. You also get to see, like, hey, here's all the data that we get, not only first-party data from our systems, but this would be a long list of the integrations and the data we get from plugging into outside systems as well. And of course, your AI can act and do things on these platforms. So I wanted to call that out as really special. And the other thing that's special is that we're actually going to deliver business results for you. And so here you get leads captured, meeting recorded, review requested. And also we're going to intelligently recommend, what you can do next. And so what's the monetization path? So of course, you can subscribe. You can see in the control center, here's the value that we're delivering. We're going to be building a credit system, and so you can see, consumables, here's how you're doing, and then of course subscribe now, where you can upgrade to a bigger package where we include a bunch more consumables, and you can get value. So yeah, just a quick walkthrough of our onboarding plans, what we're building now. Thanks.
All right, so that's like I said, that's better than you need to hear from me. So these are the reasons why we're doing this. We're dabbling in this. I think, obviously we're investing in it, and hopefully we can make this work. All right. So also, what's the opportunity look like? So we wanted to just look at the opportunity and say, well, hey, there's like 66 million SMBs in North America and Europe, and maybe I think we included Australia in here that we're looking at. How many of those actually fit our ICP? At least a narrower version of our ICP that we know work, like services and all the things that we're getting huge traction in. So you can see that there's, a really big number, 18 million in between European Union, United Kingdom, and Canada and the US. And it's a huge amount of, $995 billion in revenue, growing super fast. So the SMB market is really attractive. Most people are going for the enterprise market because they have an empty shell. They don't have all this data. I think Jesse said this, but he said, all the work that we've done for the past 15 years somehow magically was designed to get us here to this moment right now. here to this moment right now. Us collecting data for listings and reviews and social and website and SEO and SEM, and then being able to keep that data up to date, and then having products that have the tools to pull the levers to send a blog post, make a phone call, receive a phone call, send an email, fix a listing, change your website. All of those tools, all that work that we did for all those years brings us right here to this moment. And the platform we built over top of it with security, authentication, user management, monetization, all of that, it brings us to this moment where we can take advantage of it and build this AI workforce. And it's the fastest growing segment, and it's a huge amount of spend is there. We can see what's happening. IOL was a massive proof point for AI employees. They only marketed Mario. It blew up. We sometimes get stuck with ourselves where we're still advertising some of the old stuff, when really, what we really need to do, all the small businesses out there are looking for AI. And we've got 3 profile buyers, and this is really important to product-led, which is also, self-serve is a subset of that. One is we have the builder. So 5 to 10% of the market, they're tech forward, move fast. That's not all, that's a small part of those SMBs, but still a huge number, right? If there's 66 million, or whatever, it's a big chunk still. But these are what our fast track partners are too. So it applies to, agencies are also small businesses. So there's 10% of the market, that 5 to 10, and I think it's directionally going to grow, that could just use AI themselves. Then you got the operator. They're sort of mostly our ideal customer profile. They can be a customer directly to Vendasta, but we have to make it work, or through a partner. This is the biggest part of the market. And then there's the delegator. Those are typically only going to go through a partner. They hand it off to some agency and say, make it work. They don't want to do anything. They sometimes have the skills, they just probably don't have the time. Real busy businesses. And so that's the types of buyer profiles. And then there's examples of each. We got the builder, and Sanjay went through these, and he'll probably go through them in more detail. But you can see the tech spends are still big. And then he talked about how might we lead for each of these. So maybe Vendasta Vibe is for the builder. Maybe the operator we leave with a self-serve AI employee activation, and the delegators through the mass configurator with the partner. And it's always some combination of all those. This is just the lead marketing tool. And then we work, and then it has to, really work across our partners and our partners' clients and everywhere. So we see we're going to convert SMBs direct. We're going to let our partners do the same thing, and we're also going to convert SMBs on our partner site. So just the 3 ways we're doing it. And the future vision is really to turn that into a viral loop. So, one of the ways to do that is to show community-built things. So, we, Gabe and Naresh vibe-coded the V-tickets. I wanted to call it Vendesk, but they vibe-coded that. And, there's going to be a community of all sorts of things people vibe-coded, and that introduces a viral effect. And then you also get that Powered by Vendasta on there, which can also be established in the viral loop. So one of the things that we're looking to do that everybody does is to actually drive traffic with our brand. So we're probably going to move the white label just to people like IOL. I think all the agencies, some of the ones we're talking to in the Fast Track program say, it's not realistic for people to think that I built this software product, and if they think I built it, they're not going to buy it. And so we need to have Powered by Vendasta. And I don't think any of the smaller agencies are going to, we'll grandfather the ones we have, but new ones, we're just going to have Powered by Vendasta. We need to build our brand, and we need to, so we can drive this viral growth loop. These backlinks are worth a lot. So that's what we went through there. We went to the Talent Comp Committee. Then we had the Audit Committee. These are just mostly things like, approving options and different things and dates and governance and approvals and all boring stuff. One thing I wanted to show you was we're changing. So we always have 2 in-person board meetings and 2 remote. So then we're like, hey, how come we're coming to Saskatoon in November? So we moved it. So Saskatoon, we're going to come in July. And we're going to have the Phoenix one in February. And then the other 2 are, they can be virtual. So April and November will be virtual. So I just wanted to highlight that because that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to change that. So that was it. And that's it. Then I have the in-camera. And, we're on a good path. I really want us to keep focused on this, and I think it's feeling pretty good. I don't know. I think, again, I don't know if this might be Jesse or John, but I think Jesse said something to the effect of, this is the first time that I'm providing our product to all my friend group. Like, he's out there saying, hey, you need to use Vendasta, you need to use, and he's got them using Vendasta Vibe, and it's like, because before, when you're selling reputation or listings, it's like, yeah, I can be out having drinks with you and you have a business and we could talk about that, but it's not all that exciting. Whereas if I can talk about how might I change your business right now, answer your phones, give you more productivity, let you build whatever you want, it feels different and it feels great. And so I want to thank everybody for that and looking forward to the next quarter. All right. Am I the end of that, or what do we got now? AI Billboard. Who's going to do that one? Yeah. Who's winning?
Not you. So hello. This week's AI Billboard Award goes to, well, not Brendan, but let's go and see. Emma. So Emma Mitchell, congratulations. She submitted 7 builds, and she gets the $50 Amazon gift card. So I'm just going to read her builds quickly here. She submitted DOCSIS code export skill, automated playbook creator, Pepper Knows, Pepper Lexi learning experience intelligence, and Sid Q&A. I'm sure a lot of you know Sid. This week we had a fresh face on our billboard. Catriona, thank you very much for submitting your first build. And please, everybody, once again, I want to remind you that we want to see everyone's AI solutions on the billboard. Even if it's Claude scale, please submit it. Looking forward to seeing more. Thank you.
Do you have a ticket? Has a ticket. I pick because I don't take a ticket. So then y'all can't get mad at me and say it's rigged. Okay, last 4 numbers. 6349.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.